Mark's Soul's Love by Halo the Eevee. Mark's soul has been killed, or so everyone thought. He had fallen in love with his friend Shade, but she was glad he was dead because Wendy Shade's other friend to her that Marx had been watching her. What will come of these turn of events? That's the description. So, you know we're in for a good time. Without further ado, I'll start right in. At Planet Popstar, a Puchaina named Shade was wandering around searching for her friend Windy and three-tailed winged Vulpix that had a wind-like design and was 3 shades of blue, so she called out her name. Windy! Windy, where are you? She called out. It had also been a year since Kirby killed Mark's soul, but to Shade it didn't matter. He would always stalk her, and she didn't like it, so to her she didn't care if he's dead. Then Windy came out of the sky and landed in front of her. Hey Shade, I heard you calling me, what's up? Shade always liked Windy because like her, she wasn't normal because she had a pair and dark blue and black demon wings. As the two started to chat, they didn't know that Mark's soul had returned. He was looking down at them, but he mostly looked at Shade. Marx had fallen deeply in love with Shade. He felt like diving down and grabbing her, but he knew that someone will tell Kirby and he'll come after him. Marx's mood changed to anger, that he couldn't have the one he loved, so he flew away. Then he remembered where he first met them. Flashback! He was at the daycare and being bullied by a girl when Shade and Windy walked up. Hey, leave him alone, you big bully. The girl turned around and spoke. Oh yeah, and what are you going to do about it? The girl asked. Teacher, this girl is being mean to Marx for no reason. Then the teacher got mad at the girl. Miss, you're coming with me. I'm you parents. What? I hate you, Shade! The girl was getting dragged away. Hey, my name is Shade, and this is my friend Windy. Nice to meet you, I'm Marx. End flashback. I remember what their dreams were. Windy wanted to be the best flying Pokemon. Shade wanted to rule all of Popstar like me. That's when I fell in love with her, but I could never tell. Then one day, Windy told Shade that yes, I was watching her, so she never forgave me that. It's because of Windy Shade doesn't like me, and I can't accept that. Down below, Shade asked Windy if she wanted to have a sleepover, and Windy agreed. At 8 o'clock! Windy arrived at Shade, and they made popcorn before putting a movie in the DVR. After the movie finished, they went upstairs and they checked Shade's Tumblr to answer some questions. Hey look, I got 3 more followers. After the two answered the questions, Windy unrolled her sleeping bag and went to sleep. Shade then tried to go to sleep, but she couldn't. Finally, she fell asleep, but she couldn't stop dreaming about Marx until she woke up in the morning. Meanwhile, Mark's soul was flying overhead and was waiting for Shade to leave her so he could see, but of course, stay in the sky. To be continued. And it does indeed continue here on Chapter 2. Shade left her house with Windy and to the tree that she, Windy, and Marx would go to when they were young. What? Shade stopped and Windy looked over. What's wrong, Shade? I just remember when we came to the tree with Marx and he just started stalking me and I began to hate him. Shade started to cry, remembering that she was awful to him. I was just horrible to him because I was mad at him. I became that girl who first bullied him at daycare. Shade then began to cry, hysterically, in front of Windy. Shade, it's okay, please don't cry. Windy picked up Shade and flew to the tree before putting her down. Mark's soul watched from the sky, now upset because she was crying. He couldn't believe that she felt so bad for being mean to him after she found out that he was watching her. He wanted to fly down there so badly, but didn't. So he just watched and he began crying too. Then he heard Shade shout something. Marx, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry! Marx began to cry even more. He lifted his wings before putting them back down. He kept doing this for a minute, before he finally began to fly downward. Windy looked up at the sky and gasped. Shade looked up and couldn't believe her own eyes. It was Marx who was flying down to them. Shade and Windy backed up as Marx landed in front of them. Oh my god, Shade, it's Marx. Marx, you're alive, I can't believe it. I saw you crying, Shade. I'm sorry I started stalking you. Shade ran up to Marx and hugs him as her wings also wrapped around him. No, Marx, I'm sorry for being so mean to you. Marx hugged her back, smiling, knowing she forgave him. Wendy walked up and Shade let go of Marx. Okay, it's good to see you, Marx, and Kirby! Wendy, what are you doing? Shade, we can't have him around here. Marx, fly back up, hurry. Marx nodded and flew up above the cloud layer before Kirby could get here. Later at Shade's house, Marx was told to wait outside her room. Wendy, what is wrong with you? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? You're crazy to trust him, he's evil. Shut up, Wendy, he's not like that. To us, he may be like that to Kirby, but not to us. Shade began to cry and Wendy sighed. Fine, but if he tries to hurt, I'm calling Kirby. Shade hugged Wendy happily. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Marx entered the room and stood there, the gem in the necklace on him twinkled. The scale-like hexagon under his purple/red wings also shined their vibrant colors. Wendy stared at Marx's soul. Or, I could finish you off myself, so be careful of what you do. Shade glared at Wendy for what she just said. Oh, don't worry, I understand if she doesn't trust me right now. Shade, okay, anyway, Wendy, it's about time you go home. Wendy nodded and flew out the window. Well, follow me, Marx, I'll show you to the spare room. Marx nodded and followed Shade to a room down the hall and opened the door. You'll be sleeping here while you're staying. Marx entered the room and thanked Shade before closing the door. When Shade went to her room, she checked her tumbler before going to bed, and for once in a while, her dreams were at peace. When morning came, Marx woke up before Shade, so he went to the kitchen to make breakfast. When Shade woke up, she went to Marx's room, and he wasn't there, so she went downstairs. When she got downstairs, he had just finished cooking. He turned around with a smile. Here, I cooked this just for you. He handed her a plate after she sat down. On it was eggs, bacon, toast, and orange juice. Thank you so much, Marx. This is very kind of you. He flew over and sat on the chair on the other side of the table. No problem, after all, I am a guest here. He began eating his breakfast, and after everything was put away, the two began to watch a horror movie when Wendy snuck up on them before screaming, "Ah!" Both Marx and Shade freaked out and fell off the couch. What the hell, Wendy? Shade screamed at Wendy, very mad. Marx growled angrily at Wendy for scaring them. You know me and Marx will get you back for that. Bring on you two. Well, whatever, let's finish the movie. For the rest of the day, they watch all of Shade's horror movies. To be continued. For the record, I don't think this Tumblr that they were talking about a few times in the story actually exists. Well, I mean, I was searching for it on Tumblr, and I actually did not find this blog of... I searched for Shade and Vulpix and Wendy, and yeah, you didn't get anything. Might have dug up their DeviantArt profile, though. Again, no link to a Tumblr on this DeviantArt profile, but... You know what is on this DeviantArt, though? Ponies, cats, and Pokemon, according to the actual runner of the place. And here's their Shade. They've got the black and blue demon wings, just like they described in the story, as well as the unicorn horns, so you know that's a very great and wonderful original character. I think this story on here, I think it ships Magalore with you, the reader. It's too long to read on this thing. Maybe some other time.